Hello once again for everyone. I see that more and more people are gathering into the event. So once again, for all of those who just joined, my name is Domas. I'm responsible for sales at Simplanova, and I'll be the host of today's event. And the topic of today is evaluating your effort to upgrade to the latest Dynamics 365 Business Central version. So during the session, we'll just simply go through all the procedure, how to do the evaluation properly, and what's the importance of that. But to begin with, the session itself, probably some of you haven't heard about Simplanova at all. So just give me a minute and I'll give you a brief introduction or introduction of Simplanova, who we are and what we do. We started our operations back in 2013 as a development center for Microsoft partners. We were helping and we are still helping with upgrades, new implementation, add-on development, etc. And we are providing various tools for upgrades. Why we started our operations at all? Back in 2013, we saw that that some of the partners are struggling with upgrades from classic versions to RTC because back then at the time it was the difference between those versions were quite big because objects has changed from the classic reports to RDLC, forms to pages, data ports to XML ports. So we decided that we can become an expert in this field, and we invested quite some time to see how we can save time for those kind of upgrades from classic versions to RTC. And one of the ideas how to become an expert was not just, to sit and build a team who could work with those upgrades, but to find a solution which helps to automate some of the activities. So that's how we came up with the idea, and we launched publicly such tools as report converter, data port converter, which converts classic objects automatically to RDLC reports and XML ports. So yeah, so at this point, I would say we can divide Simplanova into three different parts. One of them is a team of developers who are working only with upgrades. So they are specializing in this field. They do know all the shortcuts and best practices, how to work with upgrades, despite the fact if it's the end user solution or it's an add-on, we can handle both of them easily. Then we have a team of experienced developers who can help you with all kind of other projects such as new implementations, add-on development, etc. Of course, everything depends on the need of yours. And of course, the department which allows us to be a step up front, a step ahead, is our automated tools team that spends quite a lot of time in order to build solutions that would help even for our internal projects, for internal upgrades that we are working to do that easier, faster, with the higher quality, and of course to help for other partners who are doing those upgrades for themselves. So we are providing such a tools as report and data port converter, and right now we are building a new tool for AL conversion. Well, maybe not directly for the AL conversion, because Microsoft has already launched TXT to AL tool. But you all know that for those of you who have already started working with conversion from CL to AL, that after conversion with TXT to AL tool, there are still quite a lot of places which need to be handled manually. So we are building the tool which could help you to reduce the manual work while having those results after TXT to AL. Why today I'm bringing up the topic regarding the evaluation itself? Well, simply it's not a difficult thing for me to talk about, as this is one of the steps in order to start the upgrade project, and we are doing roughly 200 evaluations a year. So I could share some insights how we are doing that and what are the results, and maybe you can apply something to you as well. Next thing, we found out that quite a lot of partners right now are not even doing upgrades to AL. They are trying to start re-implementing the solutions and so on, because it's not an easy thing to evaluate the full upgrade to AL, because all of those limitations and so on, and it's quite a time-consuming process to do a proper evaluation. And okay, so here are some facts about us. We've delivered more than 350 upgrades till started, so it's around 50 upgrades a year. We have worked with more than 120 partners all over the world. Here is the time that we have saved, quite a good number, and that would be it. Okay, so let's go to the agenda. So first of all, we are going to check the paths, how we can upgrade your solution. Then we'll see what is the importance of evaluation, and what are the tasks for the upgrade. Next thing would be why there's a big difference between evaluations if you're going to on-prem, cloud, or app source. How to prepare for evaluation, what are the alternatives, and by the end of the session, I will share with you the example of our evaluation, how it looks like. Maybe also that would help for you if you are willing to prepare something like a procedure, or you would like to have a template of the evaluation that you could use internally. And one more really great thing that we just recently launched, a clean start calculator. I will have a short demo, and even right now, I would encourage all of you, just give me a moment, I'll share this message with you sending while sending in the chat. Here is the link which you can use for getting instantly clean start upgrade evaluation. You just need to fill in a few details regarding the project, and instantly you would get the evaluation from our side. But let's keep this cherry within the end of the session. And let's start with the upgrade paths. So there are two main paths. How we can deal with it is either re-implementation or full upgrade. What's the difference? Well, the difference is quite big. If we are taking re-implementation, the first thing where we are focusing is just, we are migrating the data. Either we are willing to move all data with all the custom fields and custom tables, or we are just taking trial balances and master data. So it depends which way the end user would like to go. And what's regarding all the build customizations? Well, we're gonna start everything from scratch. It means that we need to sit down with the end user and go through all the solution, all his requirements, prepare the functional documentation, etc. And we are going to start building all those functionalities from scratch. If we would check from one perspective, it's quite a good thing, I would say, because, well, you will start fresh. Let's say if you have a solution that was built back in 2005, probably a lot of things has already changed, a lot of business logic has changed, a lot of functionalities that was built are no longer in use. So simply you can drop everything and start from scratch. So this is quite a good thing. I would say this is one of the advantages. But on the other hand, regarding the costs, also we can tell that, well, probably it should be cheaper because, well, you won't need all the functionalities that you had previously, and you don't need to upgrade everything. So it should be cheaper because you are going to build from scratch just a part of those functionalities. But from our experience and discussion with other partners, usually when re-implementation starts, at the first sight, on the paper, of course, it is cheaper, but with the later on stages, usually we are getting more and more requirements to build new functionalities, and we end up sometimes even with the same amount or even higher than for the original full upgrade as is. So, but of course, it depends. It depends on the solution structure, and so on. Next path is an upgrade as is. How everything works? Well, regarding the data, it would work in the same way as it was with the clean start. We are simply migrating all data to the latest BC versions according Microsoft procedures. And once we are finishing with the data migration, then we are going through all the objects. And below you can see the a picture that's like a path of upgrade for those objects, and those red lines I would say are the biggest challenges. For example, if you are having the classic version of NAV and you would like to go to BC 18th version, there are two critical points. One of them, the transformation to RTC, where you need to convert some of the objects, and then when you have upgraded everything to BC 14th, to do the transformation from CL to AL. So those two parts are, I would say, most time-consuming things and most challenging things to do. I would say that AL transformation is more crucial actually because it has way much more limitations while comparing with the transition from classic to RTC. And according our statistics, I would say that from evaluation perspective, as I mentioned, we are doing roughly 200 evaluations a year. So only like 2 out of 10 evaluations are from the classic versions to BC, and the rest are from RTC to Business Central. I'm sorry, it's from classic to Business Central or from RTC to Business Central. And let's focus on the majority. I will discuss more about the transition from the RTC versions to Business Central. So let's start with the evaluation itself and why it is important. Well, I would say the reason is very simple. We need to set up a proper time plan because usually it's crucial for the end user. We need to plan all the resources that we have, and without a proper evaluation, without a proper scoping, it would be quite a headache for us to do those. So evaluation simply allows to manage all the risk. You are evaluating all the tasks, all the major tasks that you are going to perform on the upgrade project, and simply, you are closing the doors for unplanned things if you are doing a proper evaluation. About ways how you can do actual evaluation, I will tell a little bit later, but because there are inaccurate evaluations and there are accurate evaluations. So As I've mentioned, one of the important things is for evaluation is to set up a proper time plan with the stages. If you will have a proper scope, you know when and where and how many resources you can allocate, and simply go according to the plan, splitting the tasks and working directly also with the end user. Why it's also important to do a proper evaluation is we need to check all the risks from the functional side. Right now, as I've mentioned, we are going to talk more about the transformation from the RTC versions to Business Central. So probably there will be quite some places where you will require code refactoring, because there will be some limitations, let's say with file management or with .NET libraries or with automations, where you won't be able to move everything as is, as it was in the RTC versions. So you need to handle these limitations prior the project and informed about those limitations the end user as well, or if you are the end user and you are doing the upgrades internally prior the project, you need to check those places and see what might be the solutions up front, because well, some of those limitations has some workarounds, or for some obsolete functionalities probably you will need to spend more time while checking what kind of alternative you can do, or maybe this functionality is no longer needed for you and you can simply drop it, so it won't give you any headaches. But in the first place, still you need to identify those places which can give you a headache prior to the project, because if you will start project without identifying these risks in the later on stages, probably well, you will have some troubles, and once again it might increase budgeting, and probably will be quite difficult then to meet the deadline that you had agreed with either your management if you are doing internal upgrade, or with the end user. So okay, so what are the tasks in order to do the upgrade to AL? I have divided it in two parts. One is the object upgrade tasks and the common tasks. So regarding tasks, first of all, transformation with TXT to AL. So I don't say that it's difficult to do the transformation with TXT to AL. This step would be more reviewing the results after TXT to AL. As you know, they probably won't work straight away after conversion, so you will spend some time to sort compilation errors, to fix some properties, grid layouts, etc. And when it's done, then we start code refactoring. For example, if, well, simply you will see that something is not working in the same way as it did in the old version, or we faced some limitations, we just simply need to start working on code refactoring. Okay, then next step, events. This is a task related to the standard objects. I would say standard object modifications. So in this case, you need to move all those modifications to separate object code units and try to subscribe to published Microsoft events. Uh, of course, probably you'll find that, well, this is a way how you will extend the solution, but probably for some of those functionalities that you would like to, when you're cleaning up the standard objects from those modifications, you are looking for events, but not all the time we are having those events. So then probably you need to modify the base app if we are talking about the on-prem upgrade, and request for a new event from Microsoft that they would upload it within upcoming release. So you could clean up the base app with the upcoming upgrade. And one more thing is managing translation files. We don't have caption ML properties anymore, so we need to manage, we need to work with XLF files, and it also takes some time, not that much, but it takes, so we need to take this into consideration. Next part regarding common tasks, data migration. This part is fairly simple, I believe, to evaluate, because basically everything depends on the size of the database and regarding on which version you are currently right now. So you can check how many steps you need to do in order to move all the data to the latest versions or to the target versions if you're not going to BC 18th. Then next step, which you need to evaluate, would be testing. And there are 3 different options. All partners are working in a different way. I have seen all kind of different scenarios while working with our customers. So one of them, and I would see that this one is written from the book, but it's quite a rare case, is that companies already has automated tests. So it means that basically they can run most of the functionalities through those automated tests, and spend less time for testing manually and get the same results. Of course, there will be some parts which requires manual testing regarding the visual side and so on. But automated tests saves quite a lot of time. And this is the thing, actually, what you can consider also if you are doing an upgrade. If you are doing an upgrade, I would suggest, but of course it's also quite a time-consuming thing, but it might be an investment in the future. While doing the upgrade, you could also start building automated tests if you don't have them. Well, just my thought. Maybe you will consider that later on. Okay, next scenario is that companies are simply doing, testing internally. They do have all the documentation, how to do the testing, which parts are the most crucial for the end user, what he's using, and to go through those modules and see how everything works. And the last scenario, which personally I don't like at all, when I hear that from our clients, but sometimes it happens, especially because I'm getting the answer that partners don't have time for that, so they are just simply taking the solution and end user is doing the testing. So without any tests from the partner side. So yeah, so it depends which way you are using. So according that, you need to do the evaluation on the testing side as well. And regarding project management, well, despite the fact you can work on all type of project, despite the fact if it's an upgrade or new implementation, you will need to communicate either with the end user or with your colleagues if it's your own solution, and you will spend some times on meetings, especially if we are talking about the transition from RTC versions to latest BC versions. You will spend more time because there will be some places regarding limitations, and you will have, for example, 2, 3, 4 workarounds how to deal with these limitations. So you need to discuss what exactly, which path you actually need to choose. So you need to allocate some time on that as well. And one small thing, of course, is which is not mentioned here, is we will spend some time for uh, environment preparation also. Okay, so right now we started the evaluation, and there are quite a big difference regarding the amount of hours for, let's say, if you're taking one solution and you have three options to move it to the latest on-prem, on cloud, and app source versions. And all those three evaluations will have quite a big difference. So let's start with the on-prem and SaaS versions. On-prem would be the cheapest, of course, because it has less limitations while comparing the cloud version. One of them is if we would take the parts regarding events. Uh, as you know, in the SaaS version, you are not able to modify any standard objects. And if let's say you have done some modifications in the standard objects, and Microsoft has not published any events where you can hook these modifications of yours, probably you just simply need to drop those functionalities or build something new from scratch. The alternative, which is available then on cloud, or postpone the upgrade if these are some kind of necessary functionalities, and just simply wait till Microsoft will publish, will upload new events for those functionalities you need. While with the on-prem version, you can do that. You are able to modify the base app. It means that then you don't need to do any refactoring, and refactoring is quite a time-consuming thing. So in this case. In this case, you will modify the base app, then you will send a message to Microsoft to upload new events according to your requirements. And with an upcoming upgrade, you will simply clean up the base app. And at some point, probably you won't have any modifications in the base app, because, well, each time when you will send a request for Microsoft, well, they are quite responsive and they are adding those events usually. So regarding .NET, interrupt. So regarding SaaS version, you need to get rid of it, redesign it while using standard APIs or standard provided objects for web service calls, while on the on-prem versions, with some of the limitations, you still can use it. Regarding file management, once again, you will have more issues in the cloud version. So you need refactoring. You need to redevelop it with either Azure Blob Storage or using OneDrive or something. While on-prem version, it's a bit easier thing to do. Data migration, well, path is almost the same, except one thing with the cloud version is while doing the data migration, you need to add one additional step while moving data with intelligent cloud, and which once again will simply increase the scope, the price and hours for the project while comparing on-prem and SaaS version. And last thing regarding standard methods and tables table scope. So to on-prem, you can use all global functionalities which are on BC, but if you are upgrading it on cloud, then you are limited only to procedures that have scope on cloud. So once again, some of the limitations. Okay, what about SaaS? What about the app source? If you are going to the app source, you are going to perform completely the same steps as you've done to the cloud version, but additionally, There are around 20 different rules for technical validation. For example, you need to cover up your solution with some part of your solution with the automated tests and so on. So once again, it's quite a time-consuming thing, and it will increase the scope as well. And there are around 20 marketing requirements that you need to accomplish in order to publish your solution on the app source, which is also time-consuming. Okay, let's move on to the preparation for evaluation. Okay, you already have a solution. What are the steps to start? Well, first of all, you need to have a software for logging object statistics. You need to prepare 3 sets of objects in TXT format, and you need to have a software for text object comparison. So first of all, what you should do, you should just simply open the object designer, copy all the objects and paste it into either Excel sheet or some other sheet where you can check all the information. You need to prepare three sheets actually. One sheet would be for the pure standard Dynamics NAV solution that you are running right now or your client is running without any modifications. Then you need to prepare a list of modifications that you have done on the standard objects and prepare the last list of custom objects. It might be either on the custom range or your own range. So you need to have those 3 separate sheets. And first of all, then you would do the comparison between the standard solution and all the modifications that you have done. You can use various tools for that. Even Notepad++ can allow you to check what are the changes between those two. What kind of changes you have done, and track all the deltas that you've done, and it will allow you to identify how much time it might take. Of course, you also need to open sometime development environment and check the code itself, see whether you might hit a limitation or not. Yes, and regarding also what you can do, you can use the text editor for comparison or PowerShell, which you can see right here. And it has quite a good feature, a command compare NAV application object, which allow to compare standard and standard modified object sets to each other, define the path where you are going to save the deltas, and run the function. You're gonna end up with a set of delta files where you're gonna be able to identify how many and what type of objects were changed, and using basic text editor Notepad, you could open each of delta files and run through the changes and see what was actually changed there. So these are the hints also which allows you to go through and simply do a proper and more accurate evaluation. Okay, right here also there are a couple of evaluation techniques. One is the detailed one and ballpark evaluation. Right now I basically went through the detailed review. It means that first of all, we are going through the objects, object by object. We are checking all the changed objects. We are going deeper while checking what was actually changed. Do we have any unsupported things with those functionalities? We need to identify upfront whether it works in Business Central, or we need to redesign the solution, do refactoring, and so on. Then we need also to identifying all the places where we will move code to events. And yes, also Microsoft has breaking changes file that also can allow you to check some of the parts which might cause trouble on that. So what are the pros while doing the detailed review? The detailed evaluation is, of course, you will get the accurate evaluation. So you are closing the door for unknown risks regarding unsupported functionalities and so on. But there are two major cons. Is that it's really time-consuming thing. It will take quite a lot of time. And on the other hand, it requires experience. What do I mean by that? For example, if you are doing like 1 or 2 upgrades a year, or let's say you were working with RTC upgrades, but you haven't worked with AL upgrade, it is quite a difficult thing uh, to do an accurate evaluation. Why I'm telling you this, I can just simply share you our experience. Back in the day when we started working with AL, it was in 2018, so 3 years ago. First project that we have evaluated, I don't remember exactly the amount of hours, but let's say if we have evaluated the project by 100 hours, actually we have spent 200 hours. Well, on the other hand, we knew that it's not gonna be our first and last upgrade, so we knew that we need to learn some lessons, and of course those evaluations that we've done in the very beginning, we are not accurate, and in the most of the case we lost because of that. But at some point we found out the main places where we wrongly evaluated some of the solutions. It was easier because of our experience. Then later on, it was easier to identify the places which cannot be moved as is, where we are going to need a refactoring and so on. And then day by day, our evaluations became more accurate. So right now we are quite accurate on this, and our goal, of course, to be honest, the evaluation that we are doing, our goal is to make sure that we are going to do that even faster than we have evaluated. But yes, so it means that if we send an evaluation for you with some kind of amount of hours, there is a probability of 95% that we are going to spend this amount of hours. If there will be any changes, of course, that we are taking the risk, but in one way or another, I don't remember the case where we would miss the deadline, unless we there were changes in the project and so on. Okay, and there is another one way how you can do the evaluation is ballpark evaluation, which is relatively simple. You first of all, of course, are evaluating the time, how much time it would take for you to do the data upgrade, which are, you are multiplying how much time you're going to spend through all the steps because everything is known, and what's the size of the database. So these are two most important numbers which identifies what's the scope for data migration. And next thing is just simply to go through all the objects that you have in the solution and multiply them by your given values. Once again, it's gonna work. Well, actually, it shouldn't work. To be honest, it might give you a view how much time maybe it might take for the project, but of course, definitely you won't get accurate numbers. On the other hand, you won't probably identify that there will be some places where you will meet limitations, which will give you headaches later on if you'll start the project. And on the other hand, if you have done just a few upgrades, or if you haven't done any upgrades to AL, based on what experience you are going to give the values for those objects while evaluating the whole scope. So this is, I would say, it's easy and fast process, but it's inaccurate. And I know that there are quite a lot of companies who are using this method. For some, probably it works, for some it doesn't, but in our case, we are not suggesting to do that, especially with the transition to AL. But let's say if we would use the ballpark evaluation, let me share some of the numbers from the evaluations that we have done earlier. So my colleague done a research from those evaluations that we've done back in 2020. And he done the analysis, he took all the numbers, he made a statistics, and here are the numbers in minutes, how much on average we are spending on specific object upgrades. So the first column is for standard modified objects, and the last one is for custom objects. Of course, what we are evaluating here, we are evaluating like regarding standard objects, custom code moving to events, etc., etc. So we are checking all these numbers, and on average, this is the amount of time that roughly it takes for us to move to the latest BC versions. Okay, and right here also you can see the code units in the custom side. In the custom side also it takes quite a lot of time, because we can see that usually while working with code units has most of those limitations and requires most of the refactoring while doing the transition to AL, because of functionalities related to file management, automations, and so on. So I don't know, you can try to use this one if you would choose the ballpark evaluation. But once again, these are our numbers. We are evaluating how our team is working and according their experience. But on the other hand, as I've mentioned, we are not using this kind of evaluation because each project is different. With one project, we can see that all the pages and code units are easy to handle without any huge limitations, while the other one is completely in the opposite way. Okay, so what would be my suggestion regarding evaluations? One of the suggestions would be that if you don't have experience in this field, and if you want to gain the experience, so you can go through all these steps regarding detailed evaluation that I've mentioned earlier, and you will gain your experience and definitely will do accurate evaluations in the future. But let's say if you're still willing to do just, you know, a couple of upgrades a year, it won't be an easy thing to gain the experience in order to do the accurate quote. So you can either contact companies who are providing upgrade services, and they will do the evaluation for you. But once again, the evaluation that those companies will do, they will show how much time it would take for them to do the evaluation, or in this case for us, if you would use our services. But it doesn't mean that you would be able to handle the same, you would be able to handle an upgrade while using the same amount of hours as we do. For example, well, we are just simply working it day-to-day basis. We know if we are talking about the classic upgrades, we know how to deal with report conversion. We know how to easily do that, while for usually for other partners, it's quite a time-consuming process, and it's a headache as well. Or right now we have gained quite a lot of experience how to deal with all the limitations while doing the transition to AL. So also we already do have some know-how, and we are spending less time while doing an upgrade while comparing what we've done like 3 years ago. Yes, and right now let's do two more things. What I'll do right now, I'll show you an example of the evaluation that we are doing, how it looks like, and if you would like to have this kind of evaluation from our side, evaluation analysis, which will show you exactly how much time we are going to spend while going through the all the project, how much time we are going to spend on each step. So you just need to send us a FOB file with all solution objects. I would share a quote portal access with you. So you just need to fill in the FOB file, upload the FOB file, fill in upgrade request form, and within 5 business days, you would get fixed price and scope evaluation analysis from our side. And even though, let's say, if you will decide to do everything internally, at least you will have the analysis which will show you which parts will cause you troubles because of the limitations, and definitely you won't be able to move some of the parts as is. So at least you will be prepared for that. And another one thing, if in general you have an old solution, or your client is having an old huge solution, which, you know, probably most of functionalities, or not most, a lot of functionalities he's no longer using, we can suggest you a clean start upgrade calculator for data migration, where you can easily use our services for that, just while entering an information regarding size of the database, how many companies, and so on. Maybe I'll just simply show you straight away about this. Just give me a moment. I will open this portal. It's the same link as I've shared with you guys in the chat. So how it works, you just simply need to add the size of the database, how many companies. Let's say I do have 5 companies. What's the destination? Is it on-prem or cloud version? What's the current version? Let's say NAV 2018. Let's pick the amount of tables. These are custom tables, and these are standard tables with customization. So let's pick a number 20. What's the localization? Let's choose, I don't know, let's pick Germany. What's the size of the database? Is it SQL or local? You need to enter the email address of yours. Let's say phone numbers optional. Name. Okay, Here it is. My name, price in euros, in dollars or pounds. Let's say project name, I will choose SPLN. We need to agree with the policy, press here, and let's generate a proposal. And once okay, and you see, if you will, if you won't complete properly the uploading the data or information regarding this form, you will get an error. So I haven't chosen one thing regarding live data migration. So whether I would like to have it during the working hours, or I would like to have it during the weekend, or maybe I don't need it at all. So you need to choose this one. And once again, press here and generate the proposal. Okay, this time it worked well. And right now, straight away, I need to check my email because instantly I should get a quote. And this is the email example that you are going to receive. So this is all the information regarding the price, until when this proposal is valid. Here are the inputs that I have entered regarding the size of the database, how many companies, where I'm going to migrate, how many tables I have, and so on. And here it's written what's included. So if I chosen the full data migration, I have included it here, and all the other information. So what should be next step for you when you fill in this form? You should either contact sales@simplanova.com directly if you need additional information for that, or if all conditions are acceptable for you, then we just simply need to we will prepare you the statement of work agreement. We will specify exactly the dates for you when you would like to have it, and we'll start working with that. And I can assure you that those quotes are quite competitive, I would say. Well, it will be easier for you. Let's say if you would take a project, maybe you have already done the re-implementation and you already know how much time it took for you to do the data migration. So once you get the number from our side, you can compare it and see which one seems more acceptable for you. So I will encourage all of you to test this calculator, either for testing purposes or for upcoming project that you would like to have if you are going to do a re-implementation or something. And I have already mentioned you about the whole evaluation. Let's say if you would like to get a proper full upgrade evaluation from our side, from Simplanova, so you need to upload a FOP file with all solution objects to our quote portal, fill in the upgrade request form with required information. And of course, if you are going to use any add-ons, we need to receive, if solution has add-ons and you are willing to use the add-ons for evaluation purposes, we need separately to receive add-ons of the current version, Business Central 14th version, still on CL. And if all the conditions will be acceptable, then we'll start the project. We need to receive also the BC, the target version add-on. If you don't want to use add-on after the upgrade, in this case, for evaluation purposes, we need to receive still at least the current version of the add-on, because let's say if the add-on has done quite a lot of changes in the standard object without having the source version of the add-on, for us, it will be difficult to identify the changes done by the add-on. And if we won't be able to find the changes done by the add-on, then we will move all the modifications as is, despite the fact that you are not going to use that because, well, you are dropping the add-on, but we won't be able to identify it. And how the quote itself looks like. So this is one of the details regarding the project itself, the current version, the target version, where we are going to upgrade on-prem or cloud, localizations, size of the database, and here is another part. As you see, we have divided it into parts. First of all, there's a transition from the current version to BC 14th CL without extensions. And the next part would be upgrade from BC 14th to the target version. And here is the time that we are going to spend for the project. Right now, I just simply took one of the examples, deleted some of the information, but let's say here are the numbers. You will see how much time it would take for us to prepare the environment, how much time we are going to spend on object upgrade. This is the part for upgrades to the BC 14th version, and this one to the target version. Yeah, so you can see all the details. Regarding live data migration, it's optional, so you just press here and you will see how much time it would take to do the data migration. Or adding prefixes and suffixes is also optional. As you see, it will take like 16 hours. And renaming standard table and page extension files also is optional, but these take quite just, for like an hour. So these are not that difficult and time consuming things, but these are optionals that you can choose. Next thing, which is really important, is solution objects. So you will go through all the objects that we have. Of course, you can filter them by the object type, see which objects are active and which are not active. And right here, you can see all the time that we are going to spend per object in minutes. So this is the transition from current version to BC 14th CL. And this is the transition from BC 14th to target version. Next thing is extension limitations regarding refactoring. So right here, we can already identify, you will get this kind of analysis from our side that those objects will require refactoring, and these are the reasons why, these are the cases why you will need to do the refactoring. Is it because of the file management or automations and so on? And here is the amount of cases found. If you would do the evaluation with us, you will get also a more detailed view regarding those places, the exact places where we are having these limitations, so it would be easier for you to identify it. So it's quite a worth thing having. So yes. So to complete the session, let's go to the end. What I would encourage all of you, of course, first of all, if you are going to start working with all these evaluations internally, let's spend some time and learn how to do these evaluations. Or even you can try to build some of the tools that would allow you to do these evaluations, because, well, actually in Simplanova, as we are doing quite a lot of those, we are building various tools that allows us to prepare those evaluations accurate and quickly without spending quite a lot of time, because, well, it's to prepare manually an evaluation, an accurate evaluation, it's really time consuming and it's quite expensive thing to do. So you can try to learn and do that internally, or you can request us to do a free evaluation analysis. So you can do that in a few ways. You can either send an email to sales@simplanova.com and request for a quote, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible, or you can leave an inquiry on our website also because of this upgrade evaluation analysis. And another one thing, once again, I will suggest all of you, just for your own curiosity, or even if you have already a deal that you would like to work with, try out our Clean Start calculator. Link is in our chat. So just test it out and see what are the results, and hopefully you will be satisfied with the numbers that you will find there. And right now I would like to go to the Q&A session, and just give me a moment. I need to read the answer. Guys, if you do have questions right now, just leave it and I'll try to answer. If I won't be able to answer, then I'll try to prepare this answer later on while discussing with our team, if I will have a lack of knowledge to give you the answer, if that's going to be a technical question. So still later on, upcoming week, all of you will receive the webinar, so you could review it once again. And the question is, do you need just modified objects, FOB file, or all objects in a database? Rob, right now the question is, if you are talking about our free evaluation, when we are doing the evaluation, so what we need actually the whole solution objects, the full FOB with all the standard objects and so on. So it shouldn't be the way that you are extracting only modified objects or custom objects. No, we need to receive completely everything, the full solution. We don't need to have the database. We just need objects. Yeah, so I have answered this one. And what's important also, once again, if you are having any add-ons in the solution, we need to know exactly what we need to do with those add-ons. If your client is willing to keep those add-ons, we need to receive the current version and BC 14th version CL for evaluation purposes. If we are going to start working with the upgrade, then we will require also the latest version. Another important fact regarding those add-ons, and sometimes we are facing an issue with that. Let's say we are starting the upgrade project. We are working on an upgrade which on a project which has, let's say, 2 add-ons, and partner is telling us that, well, this add-on is also available on the latest version and we would like to upgrade it as well. That's not a problem, but sometimes we are facing the issue that when we are receiving the toolkit to migrate everything, what's related to the add-on data and so on, those toolkits are not working properly from time to time. So it means that either we need to spend extra time while fixing the toolkit in order to do a proper migration, which is actually out of scope, and well, it would simply add additional costs for the project. Or on the other hand, then we need to, if that solution is not acceptable for the partner, then we need simply to stop the project and wait till add-on provider will fix his toolkit, that we could migrate properly everything. Maybe there are more questions, guys. Well, in this case, to avoid this awkward silence, let's keep it like that. Once again, I will suggest you to try out those things that you can see right now on the PowerPoint slide, our evaluation or Clean Start calculator. If you will have any questions related this topic, or maybe you have other questions regarding upgrades itself, something is unclear, once again, you can just simply drop us a message straight away to sales@simplanova.com, and we'll get back with all the information. Later on next week, you will receive also the recording of the webinar, and hopefully you found something new today. Something gave you new ideas how you can work in the future, and I hope to meet some of you hopefully in the upcoming Direction CME event in Milan. I hope that this year we are going to have it on-prem, not online, and we'll be able to meet there as well. So today, I really thank you for participation. Thank you for all the time that you gave. And if any questions, doubts, insights, or something, don't hesitate to contact us, and let's keep in touch. Thank you for all the participants, and till next time.